Primetime with Independent Thinker, streaming from the great studio Love 97, Thompson Boulevard. Tonight, I have a vehement guest, a talented guest. I'm going to talk some, we're going to talk some national issues combined with family lives and some things that happened in the country that Mr. Kian Smith, he's in the chair, he feels that plenty need to change, make a better Bahamas. And I had some word with him some time ago, I think last year or so. And I spoke to him, and we had a good conversation. And I said, man, you need to come on the show. I mean, with all these ideas and suggestions and solutions to help, come and sit down with me and maybe have a chat. Lay other persons hear some things what you were saying. I mean, because apparently plenty of things that happen in this country ain't weekend. And the Bahamian people need a change and be able to start somewhere. And Mr. Kian Smith, you want to sit and chat with us and have a conversation, see how best we could offer some solutions to some of the problems in this country. But before we get in the show, I must pay patronage to our sponsors. Our banner sponsor tonight, the City of Hope, that's the Cancer Society of America, Nagico Insurance on Mackey Street, your #1 insurance in this country, the fastest growing insurance company ever in this country, Nagico on Mackey Street, near the Salvation Army. Global Insurance, your one-stop shop for your marine, industrial, residential, commercial, health, life, whatever your insurance need. That's Global Insurance, Sandy Port, that's Teen and Crew, 601-0006, 601-0006. Rasta Grains and things. Let your food be your medicine. That's on Nassau Street. That's an ITIL. You got to get your ITIL plate. That's your veggie plate. I don't know, stocked with vegetables. Maybe a salmon or a snapper. 100% natural juices. That's on Nassau Street. Rasta Grains and things. Right before you reach the Bamboo Shack, across the road before you reach the Bamboo Shack. Pay him a visit. Tell him you heard his eye on Primetime with Independent Thinker. Judy's Bread Shop. That's the bread from the pond to your hand. And then bread would travel for days on the ship of the clear custom, clear immigration. No, from the pond. When she bake it, she could throw it out of the pond directly into your hand. And Benton Barbershop on Nassau Street for the perfect cut. If you need, you have, graduation, schools soon open. Listen, go and pay Benton a visit right off there on Nassau Street, opposite the Magistrate Court. Turn to the corner opposite the Magistrate Court by the graveyard. The first 2-story green and white building, the barbershop right there. Vinton's Barbershop, go and pay me with, I guarantee you, a perfect cut. Before we get into the show, I have some things I need to say in reference to some things that happened in this country. I noticed that in the papers, in the tabloids, they're stating that the company Global is showing the idea around or preparing to put a pool out there on Bay Street there in the area there by where the cruise ship comes in, someplace around there, by Senor Frog or someplace in that area there. And they planning, based on my limited understanding, is that they're planning going back to the Bahamian people to raise more funds, some $35 million based on my understanding. Now, in my humble opinion, I feel that the government should not allow that to happen because, they continuously, foreign companies in this country, not only them, but foreign countries in general, they realize that Bahamians are so limited in terms of knowledge or opportunities in terms of investment. So they jump on these bandwagon with their money and to invest, to have something to be said that they have, they're investing their money, they have stocks or they have bonds. So plenty of Bahamians have been taken advantage as a result. I'm not saying that that'll happen with that particular, but then foreigners take advantage of Bahamians on the whole. And, they raise money to build a dock out there. When we had a dock, they just extended two or three repairs and add on some other little fingers. And almost raised almost $300 million. I mean, and then they have opportunity, have first preference to run the dock and make money. I mean, who's pay people to make money off of them? Give them the land, give them the opportunity, help them, assist them and protect them to make money in your country. Well, you might as well give it to the Bahamian. You might as well give it to a Bahamian, let the Bahamian make that money. Let the Bahamian have that opportunity to raise capitals in this country. Now, you know, the first time I ever visit something that's happened is when Cable Bahamas was given an opportunity some years ago to sell dollar IPOs on the Bahamian market. They were oversubscribed. They raised some $30 million, plus $2 million was, I remember, if my memory answered me correctly, was granted from BDC, 2 from Patelco, and 2 from National Insurance. I think they bought some shares at the time. So that's $36 million a foreigner was allowed to raise capital to help them with their idea of investment in the Bahamas. So they don't really need to bring money in this country. Just come here with a briefcase, make sure you're white, and you make sure you're a foreigner, and you can get whatever you need in this country over the years from successive government as a result of a practice that is not in the best interest of the Bahamians. And I thought I should bring that up because I heard that the $35 million would be sold on the market, and the people are prepared to go invest in it. But if they want a pool, we have a water park by Bahama, a beautiful water park by Bahama, a beautiful water park by Atlantis. And it's like I don't understand what global want. Why? Why we need to raise $35 million? If they want a water park, let them invest their own $35 million. Let them spend their own money. I think one of the cabinet ministers is out saying that she don't support it. Based on my limited information, I think she put out an article today in the newspaper stating to that effect, if I read it correctly, that she don't support it. I don't support it neither. If they want to spend $35 million to put a pool, well, they have a pool on the ship. They have a pool on the ship, right? You have Bahama. People's places will never go visit Bahama. They'll never go visit Atlantis because they could have a theme park right by the ship, right? They don't need to go to visit Bahama. They don't have to spend money with a taxi and the top. They don't want the foreigners who come here to spend no money with the locals. They put the same shops out on Bay Street behind the fence to keep the Bahamians out. We just sit by idly and we just allow these politicians who don't know nothing but business. Because when the F&M signed that agreement, which I think is another bad, worthless, and good decision, they allowed them to get away with that, in my humble opinion. And that's just my 5 cents. But I have a guest in the studio with me, his name is Mr. Kian Smith. Sometime you had a conversation, you talk about something with politics, and it appears that you very knowledgeable and well read with politics. It means that you have a desire and taste for it. I asked you earlier,
right.
Do you plan to join a political organization or start your own party? But you say no.
Right.
You don't want to join your own party.
No, me personally, first, good night, good evening to everyone out there listening, amen. Like to say, Mr. Johnson, give thanks for having me on the show. Good night, Amber, same way, yeah, man. As far as it goes, right, I really want to change for the country, tell the truth. I really want to change for the country, and I'm willing to make that sacrifice if need be. You see what I'm saying? And I know for sure how they try to make it seem as like amongst these politicians that we can't do this in 5 years and 10 years. No, we really could do it if Bahamians willing to put in the work, you know what I mean? And trust. And I saying for us, first and foremost, as us Bahamians, it start with a spiritual transformation. Just like I was talking to say, us Bahamians, we be sitting down, allowing so much things to happen. In your Bible, it's showing you faith without works is truly dead. You know what I mean? You can't sit down and pray all day and you ain't willing to stand up and fight for your rights, Because the way I see it right now, we moving as Bahamians, we almost like the children of Esau. You know what I mean? We trading our birthright just for a plate of food, And that's what's going on. And so, I just want to tell all my Bahamians, give thanks for life. Don't be ungrateful, Be grateful for these islands that we were blessed with. Like, we have 16 inhabited islands. They consider us 700 islands and keys. And here it is. It's still hard for us to, fish. Sometimes I guess some of my guests, they think fish on the island should be one of the cheapest meats on the island. Yet fish is one of the most expensive meats on the island when you could just throw out your line. So here it is. The Bahamians, we so blessed with good weather. We have food. We have so much natural resources. And just to see us allowing other people just to come in, destroy us, and take over. You know what I mean? So that really is the issue, and I know that we could change if we really come together, first and foremost. Come on.
One of the policies that you stated, where you said degradation of our culture.
Yeah, man.
I want you to explain what you mean.
Right. When you look at like what is Bahamian right now, if someone asks you, you see a Chinaman walking on, someone asks you the epitome of a Chinaman, if you think about a Chinese man, the first thing you might say, well, Kung Fu, you could state certain things on what is a Chinaman. If you go into, even if you see a Jamaican man, you might think reggae or a little Rasta or something. If I ask you like, what is really the Bahamian man? You know what I mean? What is the epitome of the Bahamian man? Like, who really is my idol? Who are you really looking up to? You know what I mean? And you got to really look into say, what really is our culture? And standing right now, because if you look at the Bahamian man, I'd probably say what? What, a gambler, a drug dealer? What is really my Bahamian man, my epitome of a Bahamian man? Playful, what it is. So, here it is now, when you look at our culture, right? We don't realize these little subtle shifts, what happening amongst us. As simple as this, right? You see now many people saying, boy, remember we had so much manners, Bahamians used to speak to each other. You know what I mean? You used to notice Bahamians don't hardly speak to each other no more. Bahamians just walk past each other. I remember when you really, as a child growing up, you really was scared to see a neighbor see you do something wrong. Now people could care, like that ain't even the thing no more. Like, you just watching all these things just naturally shift. Here it is now, even talking about the front line, like they say is with the port, right? The straw market growing up, our women used to be so enthused and actually plotting, generally getting the straw and plotting it. Nowadays, everything almost is like buy and resell, you know what I mean? And it's showing you how our culture just shifting. Even, I mean, from time, we ain't nothing new under the sun, right? But our Bahamian culture, our women even wasn't as slack how it is now, right? And you just look at how our women moving in the streets, how things happening. And you might just say, okay, here it is, like, okay, that's where the Bahamas coming to. But no, all right, simple as if you see your mommy or your parents see you hanging with a certain friends on the road. How much times they might say, boy, before you start hanging with them people, you wasn't letting your pants sag, you wasn't letting these things happen. So now, if you could see that before all these foreign entities came in heavily, that the Bahamian culture was a certain way, and now you could actually see a change, Charlie, even a little small changes even in our breakfast. Bahamians grow up eating grits, bread, and cereal. Nowadays, you're seeing rice. You know what I mean? So I just saying certain little subtle changes, things happen in our country where we even allow our standard of living to drop. You know what I mean? And when you even look at it, right, so say, you don't just want to put the blame on just say this person, but when you look at it, say someone who living in the Bahamas, they have a certain standard. So the other day my son saying, man, daddy, these Bahamian women, they don't want to breed and they don't want to have no children. And I say, all right, so I say, he's saying the Haitian woman, she can breed, she can have all these children and she can stick with her man. I say, okay, you got to remember, true, we have a certain standard of living. I say, someone who coming from living in the mud, already from zero, if they could sleep in a room with 4 kids on a mattress, on a bucket right there, and they have some little thing, that's cool. Bahamians had a certain standard of living. And nowadays, I watching, we allowing these standards to drop to the point where Bahamians supposed to be able to live good on this island, be able to have basic accommodations. There shouldn't be no pumping water, there shouldn't be no outside toilets, should still be in town. All should be able to take care of each other, because here it is, on paper, we don't even have 500,000 people. But yet we can't get it together, you know what I mean? So I just looking at daily, every day, like slowly and surely our culture changing. And even when I just talking to the gentleman out there, right? And not just to say, all right, we can look at it one aspect, all right, even when you look at, to say, us wearing these coat suits every day in the hot sun, right, I was telling them, like, we are Bahamians, is take on other people's identity, and we don't realize these things just in our little daily habits. Here it is now, we so used to watching England. England, they naturally cold, they wear blazers in the day. So now here it is, you see much brethren over here, they wearing their blazers in the daytime and wondering why enough men dying out from blood pressure over here. We living in a subtropical climate where we should even promote Androsia. So the whole thing is, Bahamians have now lost their Bahamian identity. What is Bahamian? Taking on just piecing from everyone a little piece and not realizing how destroying us right now, you know?
When I'll tell you this, when I usually speak on topics like this, I coin the phrase as a matter of a mindset.
Yeah.
I always try to bring it around to that same point. It's a mindset shift and change that's happening in this country, and the way I see it. And because plenty times over the years, I ask the question, why we allow it to happen? Are we afraid or ashamed of our culture, right? Being a Bahamian, is it worth being a Bahamian? Because foreigners can participate in activities that Bahamians can't participate in his own country. Mm-hmm. You understand? You got a foreigner who come to this country and go to like casino and gamble. Mm-hmm. A Bahamian now sends 2050 or 60,
Right.
you have to apply to the Minister of Tourism
Right.
to be allowed to gamble in a casino when a foreigner comes on a driver's license and do it.
Right. Right.
Foreigners were given 10,000 acres in this country. When Bahamians, and you could put out tonight on the show, any Bahamian who get 10,000 acres, give me a call tonight.
Right.
And I guarantee you,
Right.
I put down $100. You wouldn't get one person call who honestly
Yeah.
have the deeds and the title for 10,000 acres that they was given
Yeah.
by government as a Bahamian.
Right.
So why would a foreigner be granted such a privilege to be granted 10,000 acres and allow him to sell something that he didn't bought?
Really.
You understand? Why? How is it that all these years, right, Bahamians being given the same opportunity in terms of privilege to sell dollar IPOs, right, without putting up money,
Right.
being granted money from national insurance that Bahamians contribute to. I contribute to national insurance. Why you can't get $2 million like the Canadian get?
Right.
When the Free National Movement was in power, they allowed a guy named Philip Keepin,
Right.
right, get $2 million from national insurance, 2 from a telco, 2 from BECA, right?
Right.
Why can't have that same privilege?
Yeah. Seriously.
Why can't I have that same opportunity as a Bahamian? I ain't going nowhere.
Right.
I mean, my identity is Bahamian. I have a Bahamian passport. I was a citizen. I vote. I contribute to national insurance. So why can a foreigner be national insurance be allowed to buy $2 million worth of shares in a business that a foreigner is starting?
Right.
It's all because of a mindset.
Yes. Yeah.
It gotta be a mindset.
Yeah.
You know, when I was growing up, I grew up on an island, South Andrews. And when you come to Nassau, you bring dilly, coconut, cocoa plum, grape, sea grape. You bring tops. We used to bring the tops.
Right.
We used to put them out. We used to pick the top in the bush, bring them to the road or bring them to the yard, spread them out on the rock, let them dry. So when they dry, they open up. And you put all them in the bag. You tie them like a bundle. You bring them to Nassau. And you sell them to people who in the straw market.
Right.
And they take them top and they plant hat.
Right.
They plant bag.
Right.
They plant different things, out of different, ornaments and stuff with the plant.
Right.
These days they bringing stuff from China.
Yeah.
China, all kind of things. I mean, China have the ability, which you can't blame them,
Right.
to make anything look the same.
Right.
I buy a $10 Rolex
Right.
with rolling
Yeah.
and look just like a regular Rolex, and it maybe last maybe a week.
Right.
But then they have the ability to sell you for $10.
Right.
But you could wear, at least you wear that for a while and say that's a Rolex. But I'm saying to you, we allow, I don't know why,
Right.
and the Bahamian people allow this culture to get away from them or their identity to be thrown to the side as a result of loving politicians,
Yeah.
believing that they are gods.
Just people.
And I give you an example.
Right.
When Atlantis came here, the Cabaret Theater,
Right.
where these Cuban dancers and stuff like that, right? And you used to hear stuff from foreigners like, man, we ain't come here to see that. We come from New York where that is.
Real.
We come to see your culture.
Yes.
But politicians, they ashamed, the politicians at the time were ashamed of your culture, of the Bahamian culture. Maybe they ain't full Bahamians or what, I don't know.
Yeah, real.
Right? But it have to be where they couldn't be in 100% Bahamian because they allow foreign culture to infiltrate the Bahamian culture.
Yes.
And when I was growing up, Bay Street was the town that with Bahamian music, rock,
Yeah, for real.
night till morning.
Yeah.
And you could go down and name and persons will call in and tell you cat and fiddle, drum beat, painted tail, a banana boat, pink pussy cat, Piccadilly, I mean you go King and Knights, you go all night calling off these clubs. And politicians in the 92 to the 2002, they allow every single Bahamian entertainment business to die. Everyone. They ain't bail them out.
No.
They ain't say, listen, we're gonna take $6 million from Patelco, National Insurance, we're gonna get money from these corporations and pump, and we will manage this money to keep these businesses alive, find out what their problem is while they're just dying by the wayside, or we're gonna buy them and make them crazy governor or something. They allow every single one to die. Why? It have to be a mindset. It have to be a mindset that they didn't like Bahamian culture. They don't have no heart for it. They don't believe in it. They don't want it. And they just infiltrate with foreign culture and tell the Bahamian culture is dead.
I'm telling you.
When you come to Ireland, you sure when I see night when the Moxie reached the policy dock, you had Bombay Summer on Bay Street.
You don't even know Bahamas games no more.
I'm telling you, we had things to keep the Bahamian vibe alive, you know. But when you have politicians who are not 100% Bahamians, who don't have a heart for this country or heart for their country, that will happen. That will happen, trust me. And they sit by other Bahamians who say, oh, I'm 100% Bahamian, but they sit right there because they worship men. And they believe, because these persons have so much power by being the prime minister, that they fear them. They can't open their mouth. They can't stand up as a man. They allow it to happen. And that's why we're in the state today. Guaranteed.
Say to that, Mr. Johnson, because see, the thing is, right, with Bahamian people, right, we want all the rights and the rewards of life. We don't want the rules and the responsibilities. You know what I mean? See, we want to you want your dollar to be on par with America. You got to put in this work. See, what it is, right? Just the first 51 years, this flag just being run. These politicians thinking they Barack Obama and Trump, they're supposed to be the George Washingtons and Abraham Lincolns. They're supposed to be putting infrastructures in place for this to sustain for another 150 to 200 years. Because the way the Bahamas going right now, I would say about another 25 years, you're going to really question what truly is authentic Bahamian. And I just even ask, if these politicians, 39, like, how it is us Bahamians allowing 39 people to sit up in House Assembly and just destroy us? And I want to know if these so-called politicians actually have Christian Bahamian parents. But did you really come from Christian Bahamian parents for you to indulge in all this wickedness? And we get so comfortable with corruption. Like, just like how you speak in these numbers, right? We get so comfortable with just saying, oh, well, you hear they do 40 million from road traffic. You hear, like, it's a big game. Like it's a big joke. But you know, just tax all this. Right. You know what I mean? Right, you know what I mean? I'm telling you.
Right. We will punish them by voting them out. That's not a punishment.
No.
Don't see this me. When I said earlier that we sit by and we allow the same thing you said by degradation of our culture, and it happened without one riot, without one war. We sit by idly and did nothing. And plenty and see, and I don't know if it's because we have a tripods society, right? We have the rich, the middle class, and the poor. And the rich and the middle class hardly ever participate in the conversation of what's happening in this country. Those who in the middle class are either affluent or very knowledgeable, right? And those who rich, they behind the gates, they protected, they tell the tale what the politicians do, right? They tell what song was played, right? Directly or indirectly, right? Because I'll give you an example. Dr. Hubert Alexander Minutes sent, when things was rough and the boat was rocking, he sent a letter to Life and King, tell them they need to start paying their rate property tax. He sent a letter back out, he crazy. He go sit down talking fool.
Wow.
They tell him that.
Serious.
They tell him that.
I tell him.
Right, they tell him, and not one single F&M cabinet minister said, well, I can resign because I'm a cabinet member and a group of humans in this society, right, who feel that they could talk to the government, the official government, legal government, that, man, they said, we ain't paying nothing.
I'm telling you.
I tell you all that, we ain't doing this, and none of them open up their mouth. Why? Jelly box.
Yeah, man. They selling out this country, you know what I mean, for whatever couple dollars, but they know they ain't even carrying. Like, no, I tell people like this.
What do you think they carry?
No human can spend all the money you ever work hard for unless you take your money right now and spend in this moment. Because the moment is all you have. You always put in $1 for tomorrow, which you will never see. That's why even when this lady, sometimes she'll come, I remember this lady saying, oh, well, let's go to the Chinese food store because I save $1 or $2, right? Now, me personally, Mr. Johnson, I can be budget and super value, that's where I go. Honestly. Now, some people say, nobody saving $1 or $2. I say, bro, let me show you something. You won't saving $1 or $2, you destroying your country. That's paper dollars. You won't never spend all the money you work hard for. You can always put money on an account and someone else can spend that for you. So when you taking that $1 or $2, you save that right there, you leave right on your account and you just destroying your country. Here it is, you could help all the young kids because you'll see some of these young boys, some just on the streets doing whatever, and you'll drive past them like and say, well, Man, that ain't have nothing to do with me. That ain't my child doing this. No, I tell my lady, they say we all connected, you know. That might not be your child, you know, but that might be your child robber right there you pass. You know what I mean? And so, when it comes to us as Bahamians, I don't know what it is, but we so caught up in this thing, like, to say, where we don't really look at reality and face it and really deal with society. And when we look at these politicians, right, I tell you this like a gang. Because I see people say, I is a F&M, I is a PLP. Just a gang culture. I thought this is democracy, that you're supposed to vote like whatever is right. You ain't no one really supposed to be nothing, you know. Because really you saying, I born a PLP. Like, people coming out from little kids, 3 and 4 years old, saying, I am a PLP. Democracy is not a 5-year thing. Democracy is an everyday thing. Because at the end of the day, just say I used to do Thailand, right? And I come to your house and I have a job. You hire me for a job. And you come there and you meet me. Man, my foot up on the chair and under the tiles and do ways. You ready to say, hey, brother, what's going on, man? I hire you to do a job. You need to do your job. We hire these politicians and then we sit back for the next 5 years. And let them do whatever they want to do.
And we feel their punishment is to vote them out. We got them backward.
Come on. And they trade and having fun with us.
Yeah.
They playing tennis with us back and forward. You know what I mean?
Backward.
Yeah, man. For sure.
I don't know if it's a mindset or a spirit or the baby people, right? And the last administration, they made an agreement with a foreign company to lease a portion of Paradise Island for 150 years.
Wow.
Right? Who's do that?
I'm telling you.
Who just tie the hand of 3 generations?
They ain't even
3 different half a century.
They ain't even gonna be
If they say the Prime Minister, Dr. Hubert Minnis, and the Free National Movement cabinet ministers say they were in the age, majority of them in the age of 50, 60.
Real.
Why would you tie the Bahamian people foot and hand to an agreement for 150 years? Wow. That's just so stupid.
Yes, really sad.
That's so stupid.
Yeah.
Do it like what was wrong when Linden Pillin had it where you ran it you lease it for 49 years and then come back?
Really?
We negotiate and give you another 49, but you got 49, you have a right to that. By then, either you were already out of business, by then you already died and your children take over, whoever you leave your business for, 49 years. Usually, if you're going to put an investment that size, you can't be 10. You can't be 20.
Serious.
Right? So if you're in your 40s, 50s, 49 years on that, carry you 100. Right? So why would you tie the Bahamian for a century and a half? You ever call it that already? Primetime and Independent Nigga.
Independent Nigga?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I want to chime in there. That's a couple of things fresh in my mind. First of all, your guest is a very knowledgeable, intelligent young man.
Yes, sir.
And he hit some nails on the head. But when the show first started, he was asking some questions about culture and what happened to our culture. Well, first of all, this nation embraced the world. And the Bible says, from it, the world is the enemy of God. So our culture is gone. That's been drowned. The politicians have turned to the world instead of looking inside the country at its own people and saying what's best for them. As you notice, it is true. He said, what is the human world is all about? I ask that question a lot of times, and right now, I don't have an answer for that. It's just like just degradation. All is not lost, but it's a very dismal vision right there. Another thing with that in my mind, see, he also mentioned we got to get together. And on other talk shows, I always ask the commentator, how do you do that? How do you get together? We've tried that. Lincoln Bain have tried it. Others have tried it. In the past, the getting together is going to take physical movement of some people. It isn't going to be reasoning and someone say, okay, I see your point, I'll leave. That ain't happening. That's not happening. And like you just said, you just can't pay and get up and look at the sky. You got to work. That work is going to take sacrifice. Maybe I would be sacrificed for somebody else, or we would make some type. But if we think we're going to just sit down, even right now on the show, just keep talking, there's nothing to change. I can tell you that. How long talk shows been around now? All you did was expose some things, and when something new came up, the things you expose, they just go away in the wind, and the politicians just keep turning their wheels. And these people ain't going nowhere peacefully.
I tell you, caller, I'll tell you this. And one of the former prime ministers said that, and he said it right. They ain't prepared to make no sacrifice, right? They're too lazy, right? And numbers is what make politicians move. So if the Bahamian people want change in this country, it must come within the citizen. The citizens, and I don't believe the generation that fight for racial comfort, where you expose racism, bigot, and stuff like that. That generation, they fought their fight, right? And it hasn't 100% completed, but that's the fight they fight, and they ain't prepared to sacrifice nothing else. We gotta have a generation that's prepared to fight the fight to bring this country and get this country back on keel. You gotta have that. That gotta be a generational fight in order for things to change.
My point is, and sometimes when you speak the way I'm speaking, somebody with a legal mind will say, "Oh, that gentleman is inciting a riot or inciting uprising," and that is what it comes over as. Okay, but is there anything that we haven't tried? We tried reasoning. We tried everything. We have tried. Just like in other countries. People got tired talking, got tired being lied to, got tired being promised to. So you know what they say, okay, no more talking. You start seeing physical movements. You start seeing some things. Why? These people aren't violent people. They're not criminals, you know. The people who are doing this, they're not criminals. These are citizens who have no other means or no other way of getting the authorities or the government's attention. They say, listen, I need you to stop and hear me out. That's where we are in this country. No politician is going to ever get up one morning and say, okay, I think I have enough. I think my party have done their best. Really, that ain't never happening.
Thanks, Cole. We're going to take a break. I take my first commercial break. If you want to call me back after the break, I'll entertain you for another minute or two. Before you respond, I'll take a first commercial break. Producer, let's take a first commercial break. When we come back, we'll continue my conversation with Kian Smith. He's Kian Smith. I pronounce his name, bro. I apologize.
Great.
Yes. Kian Smith, he's in the chair with me tonight. And we talking, listen, as it is, it is what it is. Tonight, live, Primetime, with Independent Thinker.
Cancer. It's a word no one wants to hear. But at Cancer Treatment Centers of America, we hear it every day. It's a word we've dedicated our lives to overcoming by changing the way patients are treated. And now we're part of City of Hope, which is one of the nation's top 10 cancer hospitals. Together, we'll combine leading-edge clinical research with precision cancer treatment, so we can be there when you need us most. So when you hear the word cancer, there's another word that should come to mind. Hope. Call now.
You've dreamt it. You've worked hard for it. And now you've got it. You deserve to enjoy the fruits of your labor and know that you're covered in case of a disaster, like an unexpected fire or a vehicular collision. At Magic Insurances, we focus on settling your claims quickly and fairly so you can get back to enjoying your life. Magic Insurances. Fast, fair, and always there.
Before the break, I had a caller on who was opining about something. Man, listen, he gave a good, he contributed good to the information that Kian Smith lamented earlier, and he said that we as a people don't have the call to fight, or I don't know if it's because we hasn't fight for independence, or it's a curse on this country or something. It gotta be something, Kian, that Bahamians, they'll sit back and take beating for 5 years before they feel like I gotta go to the poll. Right. When you could listen, tomorrow's Friday. Right. Monday morning, right, you put 25,000 people on Bay Street. Right. You could get some legislation go your way.
Yeah.
See, the rich don't put 25,000 on base, they put $25,000. But we ain't got no $25,000 to spare.
Right.
So we put 25,000 concerned citizens.
Right.
As things was happening. Because I remember when Telco was being given to cable and wireless, 49%, 51% of Telco was being given away to cable and wireless. The former Prime Minister and the Free National Movement and his cabinet, he said that I look outside and only see about 400, 500 people out there. So that ain't enough to stop this. Let's continue. We'll continue going on. Right. Because the numbers ain't there. Why would we allow all that to happen? And we was in prison. We was on Bay Street to lay our head there, lay our body be counted so that'll stop. Because it wasn't right. We sit down in this country, we allow so much happen. Right now, water and sewage being around from I was born maybe, right? 1950.
Right.
What is the barge? I never forget it. What is the barge from Andres? I remember the two barges. And one I remember was the Titan.
Right.
One named the Titus. I was the next one. I remember the name. I just didn't get it in my head.
Right.
There's a barge water from Andres to Nassau.
Right.
That's how long water and sewage been there. Today,
Yeah.
water and sewage is a collection agency.
Yeah.
Water and sewage don't pump water to the ground no more.
Right.
They got the F&M bring a foreign company from the Cayman Islands.
Yeah.
Consolidated Water, I think.
Right.
Or one company, I think it's it.
Right.
Right? They pump in water and sell it to water and sewage.
Yeah.
I mean, how we get like this?
Yeah.
Why we have to bring a foreign company to take 51% of the most profitable company in the history of this country built, Patago.
Right.
And we let them take over when we don't run the optic fiber cable from Cable Beach to Haiti, from Cable Beach to Freeport, from Freeport to West Palm. Why? I mean, why when we don't get the company in the position it needed to be in the 21st century? Then we put a foreigner to be in charge of it. Something got to be wrong with us.
They tell you what they think of Bahamians. They don't think we are able to do this thing. You know what I mean? And we are, because even with the dump, my brother-in-law, he was one point head of the sanitation in Freeport. And Freeport landfill, like you wouldn't even think you want a landfill if you go over there. They talking about they have everything set up neat, nice. They have something where they suck out all the garbage juice, everything. This man offered to fix the dump, you know. No, see, they don't give it to no Bahamians because they know at the end of the day, they can talk. See, they just get their kickback. See, just like you saying with the foreigners, they have certain empathy for the country. So when they didn't give the foreigner that contract and the foreigner, hey, what that bid in for 10 million, give them 2 of that, they know the foreigner ain't get talk that the foreigner can care less. Because you know what us Bahamian, you can probably tell someone. So they just never give, and then they say, keep them down, keep them porters where they can control them. You know what I mean? Because, like, no way. And see, Bahamians, they have us in a mentality that, okay, at least I get something to eat. You heard you saying at least. And so once people feel like they get one little grits and tuna and what's not and one cold collect and one conch salad, they get it so brainwashed and party. And see, that's the thing right there, you know. They just distract us with so much of these parties. You know what I mean? They'll throw one little festival there, one little festival there. And you think like, man, I going out, I had something like being outside the weekend, everything good, everything cool, over here good. And our climate is fool us, because all you thinking, I ride around beach, I ain't get no snow to deal with, I having a good time. But guess what? At the end of the day, if Bahamians don't really fight for their land, this will get taken away from us right now. You know what I mean? Eventually, right? You see, they saying eventually can be a full completion. And so even like how the caller was saying, like we need a physical thing. Okay, say if we realize we grow up in a community, almost like, all right, you see the bodies carry memory. So you have the Lucayan Indians, who's like these docile people, and they get rampage and what's not. We carry that same type of spirit and that same type of aura. Okay, so if it is that plenty of people sitting down like, oh, I don't share no blood and I don't want to do this. Okay, you could do a different way to beating this thing. When it comes to voting, vote for an independent person, just regardless. Just do something very different. Or at the end of the day, spend your money different, because how it is, coconuts in abundance. You ride around certain parts of Nassau, you'll see some people coconut tree rotting and thing, but yet you have coconut water in the can in the food store getting import. So when you go to the food store, don't even pick up that coconut water can one time.
But I don't need coconut water. That's coconut pulp with water and sugar.
All right, and people buying it for them to bring
coming away from around the world,
You see what I'm saying?
Belize,
container or stuff
Trinidad,
like that.
Tobago.
And you won't drink. You see, the thing is, where we run away from ourselves, because at the end of the day, with the Bahamian culture, we used to pick fruits and what's not. You let people as they get older. Or when I was a little child, I used to pick ganap and juju. That is your Bahamian culture. You're still supposed to be eating your ganaps, your jujus, and feeling good in your country. You see how it is nowadays in our country? I talk about it going horrible. Hardly no more cooking. Sundays, the fast food get the biggest line, different things like that.
I'm telling you.
So Bahamians now really need to realize, like, hey, there's other ways we can fight it. If you sitting up in your church and saying, well, I don't want to share no blood, there's other ways to fight these politicians and fight them. You just have to have integrity, because the true character of a man is who he is in the dark. The reason why these things happening, right, because these 39 politicians couldn't get away. They have some other people who sitting up here acting like they for the country, but selling around underneath the table. So all it is, if you saying you really is a Christian person, don't be talking about you believe God. If you really know God, you really stand up for your rights right now. You wouldn't be like Esau and despise your birthright. Because that's really what happening. Just true, you don't want to fight for these things. Because when we go to America, we'll see them built up, their train tracks, all these different things. Just remember, physical men actually got on the ground and built this. It's time for our men to stop walking around acting like this just a big party all day.
No, but
for
majority
pleasure.
of them trying to be woman.
Real talk. Everyone just choosing pleasure over principle.
No, but they ain't only the pleasure. Trying to be woman, I know, but real woman.
See, we allow
they
it.
trying to outdo woman.
Real talk. Yeah.
That's why they so spineless.
Yeah,
and
man.
you listen. You had two politicians one time offered to tender their resignation.
Right.
One of the politicians, right, was denied. Well, the two politicians was denied their resignation.
Right.
But one, he said that you can further deny my resignation. I leave. I leave it.
Right.
You ain't gonna accept it
Right.
as the prime minister,
Right.
right? You ain't gonna accept it. I gone.
Yeah.
That was A. Loftus Rogo.
That's the
He
one.
tendered his resignation to Pillen.
Right.
That the great late Pillen, Sir Lyndon Oscar Pillen, he's tendered his resignation and he left.
Right.
Right? Pillen said, I'm not accepting it. He said, you're gonna accept it.
Right.
Yeah.
Real wide.
You had another politician under the Free National Movement in the name of Earl LeBeau. He tendered his resignation. But he didn't tender his resignation. The prime minister said he accepted it.
Real.
Right? Because the public noise was that an application was on his desk as the Minister of Environment, right? For looking for approval for the Aga Khan and Bell Island. And he riding around in a manned helicopter.
Wow.
So the pressure started turning up, and that's what he said.
Right.
That he offered his resignation.
Right.
The former Prime Minister Ronald Reagan, Alexander Ingram, said he ain't accepting it.
Right.
But it ain't for you to accept.
Right.
If I was a man,
Right.
and I feel that
Telling you.
the decision I made was wrong,
Real.
and through custom and convention I supposed to resign.
Yeah.
Then I tendered my resignation
Yeah, right.
to have nothing to do you accept it or not.
Right.
I gone.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Right, but because of the type of humans in this country,
Yes.
you know what I say?
Right.
Because the type of humans,
Right.
and it showed blatantly during the sale of a telephone, many persons didn't realize.
Right.
You had men
Right.
who's supposed to be man,
Right.
I was supposed to be alpha males in the House Assembly,
Right.
trying to justify their reasoning
Right.
to make their earthly master
Right.
feel happy.
Real.
And I give you two. One of the FNM politicians said that he's voting yes for the sale of 51% of the telco to Cable and Wireless because he want to watch Law and Order on the beach. Cable and Wireless was never bringing optic fiber cable here. We done had that.
Real.
I was one of the captain on the tug that would operate the tug in the Cable Beach while it was rolling the cable out to sea
Right.
to the AT&T ship.
Real.
I was one of the captain.
Right.
Was running the barge from Moscow,
Right.
right? So him saying he voting yes, so that he'd be able to watch Law and Order on the beach.
Right.
The optic fiber cable was every year, bro.
Seriously.
The optic fiber cable was every year.
Yeah.
When Cable and Wireless come here, we done had optic fiber cable run
Right.
to Haiti,
Yeah.
run to Freeport, and run to West Palm Beach.
Yeah.
So Cable and Wireless wasn't bringing optic fiber cable.
Real wide.
One of the other politicians during the same time said that he's gonna vote yes because 51% and 49 is the same thing. You imagine you telling a little child, right? All right, that's to tell you how grown men
Yeah. Yeah, man.
they only see, and in my humble opinion, they're only saying them kind of nonsense to make the leader who they believe was God.
Right.
The prime minister is trying to make him feel I tell you, I support you, and I will find I'll find whatever I could in me to justify why I doing this. But that ain't, you know.
No.
I love this worker, A love this worker, the late A love this worker always wants to tell me, anytime you see an educated man talking fool, be careful, eh? Corruption ain't far.
Real vibe.
That's one of the ways to them.
So hey, the politics so destroying this country so much, right? Even let's say politics, even amongst us, right? Vehemence, like I say, we need to start forgiving and stop even all these grudges. Where we so caught up in this politics, someone will be making sense. And just because you see that person of PLP or FNM, you denying whatever the case may be. So here it is now. Your child may be with the best basketball player in the world, the coach. Here and so your child, the best point guard. So he asks the child, "Hey man, what you say your name is again? Johnson, M. Johnson. Where your daddy is, man? Man, he really remember something to do with him in grade 7, and he will now bench your child. And then when your child getting benched through whatever." You see, one thing, when we even taking from these other cultures, we don't even take from the American culture the good stuff. We'll just take whatever foolishness. Right. How about them when sometimes they put aside their feelings for the business, for the greater community? So here it is now, Bahamians, if you put aside your feelings and stop worrying about who is PLP and who is FNM and all this foolishness and look at what happened to your country, because before you know what, in and else can be nothing. You see what I'm saying? Because what are you really going to be Bahamian? The way it's looking, your prime minister might, so in the next 20 years, have some slanted eyes or something like that. You got to be careful. So if Bahamians really just look at the facts and say to themselves, look how we live in, our dollar value going down, prices, it's so hard nowadays when you go in the food store, you're really looking at the bag and saying like, bro, where does $100 going? Like, bro, what I get inside this bag? Here it is, you looking at fish so expensive, and then even when you saying with us selling out and the way we conduct ourselves being these weak men. All right, just on another note, being in the taxi business, you know how much my guests has asked me, bro, are you Jamaican? I say, why? Or your voice, they say, no. This is the Bahamian accent, I'm gonna give it to you. I said, you come into my country now, welcome to the Bahamas. I said, what most of my taxi drivers do, and people you can experience in a hotel, they tend to put on this slight American accent to accommodate, not realizing that these people come to your country, give them you. That's the reason what happened to Damons. Give them you. You busy trying to be everyone else instead of really be yourself. And so people will be talking this American accent when they out there. People they thinking the people this ain't what happened. That's why they don't understand how to just train in your brain to just pretend. To always sell out and just serve the master. Sell out and serve the master. At the end of the day, I tell people, these people treating you, they're not your friends. They treat you like pets. Which I used to your dog. Good boy. Do your job. You better do your job. Because if you don't do your job, you don't get feed. So people is be thinking that these people are their friends. At the end of the day, one thing I can remember Pinland saying, don't rob the people who get the money out of their pockets. You understand what they're saying? But Bahamians right here, they so you see the slave master mentality so deep in our thing. The minute they see that white face, they automatically then revere and bow down and okay, we have to please master, we gotta make sure master's straight. If Bahamians just really start standing up for who they are. That's why when I hear people talk about Christianity and all this thing, I ain't against no religion, you know. But really and truly say by the Christians who know them by their love, if people really was godly people around here, trust this Nassau couldn't have been moving like God was. And so that's why I just look like Bahamians really need just to say stand strong and do what they have to do, you know?
It appears to be a mindset. I come back to the same phrase, the mindset. Because things happen in this country, right? And no outcry. This country was never a country that was accustomed to 100 murders a year.
Really?
Right? We was never that. When one person get killed, the town quiet and people say, oh, you hear that? Man, they shouldn't do it. You know, because why? He was not accustomed to it.
Right.
Now, a 5-year-old child get raped. The guy leave her in the car on Carmichael Road to die. Wow. She end up getting up that morning and walking out all blood up, and not one member of Parliament was in the House of Assembly hollering and say she ain't doing nothing until a bill pass. Tell these man who will rape a 5-year-old child, get 100 years,
Sad.
Get castrated,
Sad.
Get the capital punishment or something.
Right.
Not one woman MP, not one member of Parliament, not one cabinet minister, not one of them.
Yeah.
So I mean, how it is that they could be the persons who could pass laws to govern when society have ill-minded humans, and then not one of them open their mouth.
Yeah, man.
Not one.
This paper dollar is so strong for them, trust, man. They only thinking about the paper dollar. They thinking about the money, the millions they making, the millions they taking away from us, and trust. They laughing at us, you know. I don't want you to think they're in the saying like, but these people really stupid, you know. Like, look what we just do to them, boy. Because even all these hotels, all these things could have been owned by people, all could have been owned by the Bahamian people. Bahamas could have been owned by the Bahamian people. We didn't need no foreign entity really and truly, because we had everything right here what we needed. And so these people really do not care about those children dying in the streets, because like I used to say, when it comes to the rich and the middle class, right? Like I used to tell my mom, I say, all right, say you read in the newspaper and you see, 2 murders right here on East Street, and what's not right. You who don't live East Street, see that's news to you on a paper. But that little child going through psychological trauma, that little girl, that little boy who got to walk over and see them sheets, see the body lying on the ground, see, they ain't worrying about that part. You know what I mean? Because once again, that ain't my child. I ain't got to worry about that.
You don't live there.
Yeah, man, so they ain't caring about that. They ain't worrying about the psychological trauma. So here it is now. That's why we have to have more compassion for each other, because as I get older, I start learning to stop judging people. When you really realize, you find out, like, what was, check this person background, bro. That person come up here, no mommy, no daddy, the Grammy drinking, Grammy and checking, this, you know what I mean? And these are the things that they want to keep them in control, because how in the world from 1967 to 2024 we still pumping water in outside toilets and being done? And see, like I tell people, if we used to just change these things, see people just looking at the houses, you know, they don't look at the psychological damage, all right? Say if everyone had basic accommodations inside being done, I mean, when that little girl come from school now, she don't have to walk the road, who 12 years old, 11 years old, go pump no water and be around the boys who early in their early 20s. She could come home now, she could go right there, she could turn on a shower, and these things could happen, you know. It ain't like the money in there, you know. But yeah, these people will consistently vote when they know these man, I'm taking millions away from you and don't care about your life. Because you got to remember now, Mr. Johnson, the lawyers, the doctors, and the morticians, that's who run in the Bahamas. The lawyers, the doctors, and morticians. And so how do they make money? Crime, sickness, and death. See, that's why most of the politicians is lawyers and doctors, and they friend the mortician. See, that's why they only promoting all these things. That's how they make their money. That's why from right now, they telling their children go study criminal law. Because if they really want crime stopped, they wouldn't even tell their child to study criminal law. They ready to tell their child, man, for the next 50 years, crime will be around, man, we promoting this thing. That's why we ain't promoting no health and different things. That's why when COVID was around, we ain't close the fast food places. We make sure the people are eating unhealthy. We ain't promote health. We ain't promote people to live some way. See, that's who run in the country, the lawyers, the doctors, and morticians. And that's how they keep you down. Crime, sickness, and death. That's what it is right now. So that's why they promoting, and that's how they, and by poverty, they can keep these things. And that's why us Bahamians, I telling you again, Bahamians, please stand up for your rights, man. That's and why in the Bible, God saying, you know, these people, you know.
Kian, listen to me. And some simple things can be done.
Yeah, man.
See, one of the rules in the Willie Lynch theory is that you keep a society depending on you.
Yeah.
You control them.
Yeah.
You can't control Elon Musk.
No.
You can't control Bill Gates.
Okay.
You can't control Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
You understand?
No,
You can't control Bezos.
Right.
You know why? Because they have billions of dollars. They can do whatever they want. Right? They can afford to do whatever they want. You can't control them. But if you keep the people dependent on you. I'll give you an example. How is it, right, that you have to be living in society to work in a constituency? You have to be living 6 months. But you could run in my constituency, live in your house at Live Key, right? And you don't have to be there for 6 months, but you could live out west at Live Key in your house, right? And then run in Kennedy, run in the Grove, or run in a constituency. Because we have it backward.
Yes.
See, I didn't believe that the ordinary man stupid, ignorant, right, and uneducated. Because why would you feel that you should have to be living in a affluent area or gated community to be the member of parliament for me and Engliston? Why? You have to believe that I'm stupid. You understand?
Yeah.
So, and the only way that can happen if you continuously keep me depending on you, because you can't control the man who's free.
No, really.
You can't control the man who's free.
Yeah.
So if you keep Bahamian people dependent on you, it'll always gotta come to you, because when you want something, I gotta come to you.
Really.
Right? So you ain't trying to disturb that.
No.
You ain't trying to prevent that. Right? And some simple things can happen.
Yeah, man.
Amend the law.
Right.
In order for you to run inside St. Barnabas, you will be living in St. Barnabas for a year. Right?
Yeah.
So that you could feel what they're feeling.
On.
You could understand what they live in. Right? Right, and you change that law, and you watch.
Real.
Though you could change the 6 months too, because you would say, all right, you don't want no one moving you just to vote. No. 1 year you have to be living here to run you all vote here.
Right.
And you watch how things will change.
Yeah, serious thing.
Right, you living in out west, like a kid, and you running like a kid.
Yeah, real right.
You understand?
Yeah.
So some similar things that happen.
Yeah, man.
But if you do it,
Yeah.
you're empowering people.
Yes.
See, this crime problem in this country is very simple.
Yeah.
Very simple to deal with. You got to start from somewhere, right? And we all to start by empowering each constituency.
Yeah.
We got what? 28 constituency in Nassau? How much constituency we have in Nassau? Maybe 28, 30 in Nassau. Nassau alone.
Right.
How is it that there is no local government inside Nassau?
Really?
Why?
Really?
Why you ain't empowering the people who live in the area they live?
Really?
You empower them.
Yeah.
When you empower them, you deputize them
Right.
to run an area, right? And you let members of parliament go and pass laws, create environment people invest, create laws that Bahamians live, right? Bring modern day laws, change some of these arcade laws, those are other things.
Yes.
Don't let them be worried but come and they believe they represent you by coming to a funeral,
Right.
lifting up your baby,
Right.
and think, no.
Right. Real.
We got mayor,
Yeah.
we got council, whatever, Howard Secretary General, whatever, and the constituency. Let them do set up crime watches.
Really?
Instead of you putting $100,000, $25,000 every quarter, $100,000 a year on a member of parliament salary for the constituency where you don't live.
I'm telling you.
Right? He don't live in the Grove.
Right.
But you putting $100,000 in your account for him to draw back off to help the people in the area he don't live.
Right.
And you could just create a local government constituency and give them the 100,000 and say, listen, instead of we paying all these companies to pick up the garbage, we'll give each one of you all a brand new garbage truck. You all hire some people in the area where they live and you all move your own garbage. Pay the people from the money we send you. I mean, plenty of things can happen in this country.
Yeah.
You know, but you gotta be a will to empower women. If they remove the dependent doctrine, they can't control you after a while, and they know that.
Yeah.
They can't control
And
you.
it start with the kids, you know, because see the thing is, right, if we could do small little infrastructural changes to uplift the kids, because as simple as like our government primary schools, they could be mini BTVIs. And so a child by the time it's grade 7 and 8 and then know where, okay, I won't be a nurse, I won't be this, because when they complain and say Princess Margaret, say, oh, these people don't work, we don't have the right nurses, whatever. If you was training a young girl from school, let's say from primary school, she's learning little nursing, by the time grade 7, 8, that's really a calling, like she actually love it. See, she ain't choosing it for a job.
Right.
So when she realized from grade 7, 8, she won't be a nurse. So by grade 9, grade 10, we could have more brothers ready to work, ready to do this, have trades and what's not. But see, they ain't doing these things. They ain't putting none of these things inside the schools, you know. And you know, so you said they just changed the national sport as sailing, right? For all these years, right? To show you that has to be foolishness. When you used to go on Google, they had cricket as our national sport. I never played cricket in my life. I don't understand the game. I don't even know what's going on.
Right. See, I'm telling you, if they fix these things in this country, it start to make sense. People will start to appreciate. People start to participate. Things will work. But you have to have the country confused. You have to leave the country in the mind. You understand? I remember a quote from Leslie Osborne Miller. I think when his son did get killed, right? Mario. He said, if the politicians in this country isn't prepared, right, to bring back capital punishment and deal with these heartless murders, they should leave cabinet. They should leave parliament, right? They shouldn't even have offered the elect. And he was right? Because they're carrying their personal preference and feelings and belief, right? They ain't one. Listen to me. They bring a bill for woman and man to be equal and all kind of things, right? What's this? The people them to the supposing what they continuously have, where they say they having these things for them to get that idea what Bahamians want. Bahamians want hanging. Bahamians want capital punishment. Bahamians want you to deal with the immigration matter. Bahamians want you to deal with this, that. They ain't but none of them on the board. They bring you some things where they trying to trick you. But you know, marriage, this and all kind of nonsense, right? They wouldn't bring what Bahamians want because if they fix the problem, you wouldn't have nothing to stay confused. You wouldn't have nothing to be, you know, you understand? Catching feelings and all kind of bullshit. You understand what I'm saying? So they have to continue the Winnie Lynch theory and order. Because guess what? You check plenty of business in this country.
Right.
They owned by PLP and FNM.
Real.
Listen to me.
Yes.
They for years they just sit down and have lunch together. You know?
Yeah, man.
You rowing and hate your neighbor, you and your wife
Yeah,
mad, you and your
yeah.
husband mad, you and your brother them mad,
Yeah.
because one is FNM, one is PLP.
Right.
And the FNM and PLP who running the country
Right.
is business partners.
I'm telling you.
They have a lunch brunch every Tuesday.
Yeah, for sure. For
Whatever I
sure.
say, they have a lunch brunch by
without
each
a
and
doubt,
every one of
without
them
a doubt,
different house.
without a doubt. You know
Every
what I mean?
Tuesday
Yeah,
night.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Right.
see.
While family
Yeah,
war
man.
with one another,
Right.
thinking,
Right.
you only know PLP, or
Right.
you only know FNM, or you only this and that.
Right.
Right.
You gotta
And the
face
businessman,
reality. You gotta
they're
face
allowing
reality.
business
Right.
to interfere with their political affiliation
Seriously, yeah.
or association.
No, not at all.
But because they know you ignorant, or they
Yeah.
believe you ignorant,
Yeah.
they feel that let them row with that.
Come on. Yeah, you see.
Right. Because you know, and I witnessed this when the late Bradley Roberts is to catch all the hell with our comes.
Right.
Oh, they knocking down people's house.
Right.
Right? Oh, they knocking down the church.
Real.
They making the PLP look bad as a party, you know.
Right.
Because Bradley Roberts is a PLP.
Right.
Right? Notwithstanding that Bradley Roberts is FNM and UBP, he comes from UBP.
Right.
He's a Stafford Sands right hand man.
Right.
But they ain't looking at that.
No.
They trying to say, you see that? I walk home, the PLP them knocking down people's house. They knocking down the church.
Right.
Right? They ain't know that Saul Turnquest, Albert Miller, Bismarck Coakley, and all them FNM, it's part of our home.
Right. Real vibe.
They're sharing together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But we ain't worrying about that.
Yeah.
We worrying about what meets the eye, the little petty literal talk.
Yeah, for real.
Why the fellas them sitting around the table
man.
saying,
Yeah, man.
this your 7 million,
Right.
this your 7 million,
man.
this your 12 million.
Yeah, man.
Right?
For sure.
You see,
They say.
why?
Real.
If you keep the people depending on
Yes.
them,
Yes.
they can't even see
Yeah.
what's happening to them.
Right, real right.
They so blindfolded,
Yes, yes,
they can't see it.
Yeah, tell they happy. It's almost
Yeah.
like the Egyptian, the Israelites crying for Egypt. You know what I mean? They don't be free in the wilderness. You know what I mean? They want to sit and get the crumbs off the slave master table. And see, that's why we got to make that decision because, you know, what's so amazing, like how you saying that with people saying the thing I'm right with PLP. My Grammy, that move, they, you know, they them staunch PLP, my brother. You almost can't wear a red shirt around election time, right? So, she'll always mention this Collins Wall, what I never experienced. She'll always mention Collins Wall. So I say, but Grammy, but you get a cell phone though. Cell phone wasn't back in the day in Collins Wall. So that means you gotta face the changing times. You gotta deal with what's going on now. You can't be still screaming over Collins Wall. I ain't saying nothing wrong with who you want to vote for, you know, but don't base it on that fact. Don't just say Collins, because Collins Wall ain't going on now. My grandchild ain't gonna see Collins Wall.
They boys holding that wall longer.
Right, so you can't be using that as thing. You got to deal with the changing times. You got to see what's going on now. What do we need now? What's going on now? You can't be talking about, oh, well, you know, well, PLP back in the day and I was a PLP and I was there for whatever the case. Because I tell people it's like this, you know. It ain't even saying, I didn't know about the UBP. I wasn't born when the UBP is Sean, right? But I have about UBP.
I'm 160, I'm 175.
All right, so now watch this. I tell people, it ain't the thing to say, oh, I want the white man over me or whoever. But you know what hurt you more? You would rather, not rather, but to say, if a stranger do something to you, and you know, okay, that was a stranger, but you know this young black brother betraying you. So we say, okay, you think you get rid of the UBP, say the white boys, you take it from the 3% white boys when the things was a little more Bohemian eyes back then, how I see it. But now you give it
When
to
you look at
10%.
the facts, it's more than
You get the 10% black boys just raping you. And then don't care. You put your brothers in, you want, we supposed to be my brother, bro, and you steal it from me?
Bro, listen to me. I give you a few quotes. Before the late Norman Solomon died, he said he did better when the black man take over. Norman Solomon was a part of the UBP, was a part of the white government.
Yeah.
And he said before he died, he cried to Pendleton bedside. He cried to the late great Lyndon Pendleton bedside. That's how good Pendleton treated him when Pendleton was sick. He cried. He said he did way better when Pendleton was in power than when when the UBP, when the white man like him was in power.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you see.
You understand what I'm saying?
Real. Yeah, you see. Because everyone looking for what they could grab. You know what I mean? Everyone looking for what they could grab. See, and that's why even like on the next note, even talking about the people who looking for what they could grab. You see, the mentality, like how you say, the mindset, right? You got to remember on for the last, like, say, 30 odd years, a whole nation of people come over with a poor man mindset. Because you got to remember, these people basing their liberty off survival now. See, when these illegals come across the waters, their mental is pure survival, you know. So that's why you see, when they talk about, even when they say the young brothers don't work and the young Bayman boys don't work, that's not the case. If this building right now we in, just say this costs $7,000 to paint. Bayman man, no, this really is a $7,000 painting job. The Bayman brother said, man, this is my Bayman brethren. I can do it for $5,000. The man, because with the Bahamian man, he got to pay taxes, he got to pay all these different bills and what's not, so he say he can charge you 5,000. When you are saying he don't work because now, when the person who come illegally over here, who could keep all their money and they ain't got to pay no taxes, oh, I do that building, and for 5,000, man, you give me 500, do that building. So now you can go to your Bahamian brother and say, boy, I could get someone to do this for 500. You all the Bahamians don't work, man. You all the Bahamians don't work. You want 5,000 now because you want slavery and what's not. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, all these things just taken into place, and the politicians just love this. So now that's why our standard, that's why they feel so comfortable for years paying the Bahamians $210. Because our standards didn't drop, Remember growing up at one point, when you used to even ride a right-hand drive car, like say if someone's in Vietnam, be like, she get the fake Lexus type vibe. You seeing, you noticing now, like, a bunch of mashup Japanese cars. Like, people don't even care if the cars mashup on the road now. You'll be looking at the whole standard of Bahamas just drop. And people seeing it every day. People seeing it, but they ain't realizing because they ain't aware, because they're distracted by all these other foolish politicians putting in front of their face.
I think I'll find a break. Before we go to break, you mentioned something, you mentioned something about the educational system, right? And for years, I've been on the radio some 14 years now, and I've been beating the dead horse why we don't fix the educational system. And I had a politician on my show. We take a break, and when I come back, I'll begin with that statement that the politician made after the break. Financial movement politician. Take a break, producer, and when we come back, we'll continue our show with my special guest, Kian Smith, in the chair tonight. Primetime, Independent Day.
Cancer. It's a word no one wants to hear. But at Cancer Treatment Centers of America, we hear it every day. It's a word we've dedicated our lives to overcoming by changing the way patients are treated. And now we're part of City of Hope, which is one of the nation's top 10 cancer hospitals. Together, we'll combine leading-edge clinical research with precision cancer treatment, so we can be there when you need us most. So when you hear the word cancer, there's another word that should come to mind. Hope. Call now.
You've dreamt it. You've worked hard for it. And now you've got it. You deserve to enjoy the fruits of your labor and know that you're covered in case of a disaster, like an unexpected fire or a vehicular collision. At Magic Insurances, we focus on settling your claims quickly and fairly so you can get back to enjoying your life. Magic Insurances. Fast, fair, and always there.
It's come down to lowest percentage in the history of this country in 2000, when the Free National Movement was in power, and 10 or 12 bills was facts from Washington when they determined how the banking system in the Bahamas must continue. Facts from Washington. And it was a little brawl in our assembly by the former leader of government business, Allen and SPB Allen, and the former Foreign Affairs Minister, Janet Boswick. And we, Bahamians will say who in that sector, we had lost a massive portion of the agriculture sector. And when the former Prime Minister, Ronald Perry, when Christie was in charge of agriculture, you know what happened then, all them cow dead and stuff like that. So we end up losing a great percentage of that pillar from agriculture. So now we mostly dependent on tourism, which the black man in this country and the psyche use the roots and the racist chant, or let's say chant, the racist basis that was used at that particular time to keep in the minds of the black in this country to continuously supporting them without a plan. And if you want to be honest, facts will show that the Bahamians are still living off a designed tourism product that was designed by a part of the UBP government. It's a Stafford Sands. We ain't changed that yet. We, as black Bahamians in this country, was at the helm from now 1967. And we still, 2024, are dependent on tourism that was a model that was created by the same people who we say, oh, they're racist and they're treating black people bad. We've been in charge from 67 to now. And we still got the model that was left by the Stafford B. Sons, still is our number one pillar. That the black man ain't changed nothing.
No, serious thing.
Go back and you check it. So Stafford Sons is responsible for tourism. We still dependent on tourism. We need pivot and change it.
No.
You know, I asked plenty of time, I asked the question, what does a tourist have, what can tourists come to this country knowing that they're gonna enjoy themselves as a result of natural Bahamian entertainment today in 2024, August 15, 2024. Ain't much. You gotta go to a foreign hotel, Bahama, a foreign hotel, Atlantis, right? All right, name the Bahamian spots. Then you could go there and see jungle, you could see limbo dancing, you could see fire dancing, you could see all whatever. Where?
Yeah.
Name the place.
Serious thing.
You know, see, we bragging. I tell you, there's a mindset problem. We bragging about reaching a pinnacle of 5 million tourists.
Right.
We ain't bragging about reaching a pinnacle of 5 million return tourists. Tourists who been here, and they say they ain't going no place till they make their second trip back here.
Serious thing.
That's what you're supposed to be around for. Listen, I never forget this. And what struck me and I realized, because I used to call into talk shows before I got my own talk show. And what was one of my pivots is when a member of parliament for St. Anne's, Brent Simonet, in the House when he's making his contribution to the budget debate, and he bribed Brent Simonet for the Free National Movement, bribed that the government had made some $40 or $44 million in work permit. For you to make $44 million in work permit, you have to have 100% Bahamian labor.
Real.
Every Bahamian should be working, some should be working 2 jobs.
Right.
You bragging about $44 million you make a work permit. That's $44 million from foreigners. Bahamians don't pay for work permit.
No.
So you make 44 million. So imagine you make 44 million, another 44 million when you couldn't make because all the foreigners ain't paying for work permit.
Serious thing.
I mean, that's double the workforce in this country what Bahamians ain't doing.
Real.
Huh?
Yeah.
But see, you know, I don't understand why, right? We just sit by and I've been talking this thing for years, right? The school curriculum is the same thing. We run a social, promotional, educational system, right? You 6, time to go to grade 2, right? You 18, time to hit the road.
Yeah.
You ain't gotta, listen, me, I prepare the whole educational program, you know. My plan, which I don't have the entitlement to all the knowledge, I don't have the right to changes that the country need, right? You could take something from me, you might take something from me. Other places have better ideas than me, right? But until they bring it, my suggestion is this: all these schools like City Bell and H.O. Nash and this one and that one and all this. Listen, 7 to 9 junior high schools, right? It's the place where when you reach grade 9, they gotta know what you want to be.
Real.
Are you going academic? Your academic will show you know all this. Man, it's academic student, so most likely will be academic. But we're giving you a list of the most needed professions in this country. The drywall man, mechanic, computer technician, and stuff like that, right? We offering them to the high school from grade 10 to 12. Either you coming out with 5 BJCs and 5 GC, or you coming out with a trade, a mason, a carpenter. Listen, it could take some time to get it right. But you gotta begin, you gotta start. You must come up with a trade. You ain't want to learn, right? If you ain't want to learn, you reach 16, then you put you inside some formatary school. But you gotta follow the rules, right? If you want to just be a vagrant doing all kind of nonsense, causing fight, listen. All boys school, all girls school. The distractions stop. You limit the distraction. You must come out with a trade. Yeah. And you watch. Yeah. You ain't gonna never brag with you will never brag with $44 million and won't permit no more. Yeah. You know why? The fella got the trade. Yeah. Fella you try to open their own business. I'm telling you. Huh? They come out making abuse of Mason. Right. Yeah, they charged when I was doing a wall. They charged me $25, $1.25 a block. Right? The wall had what? 2,000 block. Really? The fella laid him in what? 6 days. That's all $2,000 he make in 1 week. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But the fella coming out of school and can make that in 1 week. Really? And he young, he make it do it in 3 days. Yeah. Really? I had an uncle who Davis, he's a day 400 block and David 2 elbow. Seriously. And he getting $25. Now that $25 he elbow that for him. Really? On every block. But I'm saying that, but if you empower people, not call them to the constituency office, tell them, come for your bag. Really? They got one egg in the bag, not an egg, onion, one tuna, one them small, half a pack of sugar and half a pack of grits. I'm like, I say, man, I don't want no bag. Yeah. They gotta empower you. Yeah. Don't give you no food, teach you how to go fishing. Yeah. You understand? So when you home, you go fish. Yeah. Right? Yeah. They give one contract, right? You remember now? Right. If they remove the dependency, they can't control you no more. Sure. They don't have no plan, they empower you. Yeah. Remember that. And Bahamas need to change the mentality towards how we looking at the islands, because alright, it's gonna be okay if your child interested, like you say, in a certain subject, then cool. But don't just say, oh well, I send you to a private school, you want to think I want to see you weed in the yard? So let's look at this thing in reality now, logically. So your son could have been weeding, he do 1 yard, and cut that, he not make $60. Just say he make it $60. He do 4 yards for the day, he not make $240, right? So 240 by 5, that's 1,200, right? So that's in the 5-day week. You ready now, because you watching TV and illusions in your brain and your mind, you ready to send your child off to school for college for thousands of dollars, and he ain't interested in this subject, to come back to the Bahamas to make $300 to $400 a week, to feel good, to one day in about 7-8 years he move up to $1,000 a week salary, which your son could be doing that from young, weeding yard, selling coconut, selling ganap, all these things, selling mango. People say, I don't see you selling no coconut in the road and what's not. If I sell and I make $100 a day off of coconut, what you talking about? I ain't got no big overhead. What you overhead? You making an honest living. I'm telling you. Right? You making more than people who got to go on people's job. All right, then. Right. And see, that's because, listen, he who fails a plan, plans to fail. Real. Right? Real. You check the plans and these manifestos and things. They empower you, they say colorful things to keep you comfortable for them to win. Real. Mark my word. Seriously. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I said in my church? I said, listen, if you want to go to college, I buy every book, pay for everything you need until you reach grade 12. But if you want to go to college, you from grade 9, start studying, get all A's, because people around the world rich, and they'll pay for scholarship for you. Seriously. I ain't gonna take my money and send you to the school if you ain't want to study. You don't have no bills. You don't have no bills. You have a call online. I take a call right now. You don't have no bills. You don't have no mortgage. You in high school. Why you can't study and get all A's so you can go to school and you can go to school free? Huh? Right. I'm a slave in the hot sun to take my money to please the neighbor. Oh, my child got in Southeastern University. Right? When you was failing in high school, I'm telling you, waste my money, I ain't happen. Primetime did a better nigga.
Yes, good night. Hello, Mr. Johnson.
Yes, sir, you're live.
And hello, Mr. Smith.
Yes, good night, good night.
Yes, so I was listening to your talk show, and I just want to commend both of you for having a terrific talk show tonight, and you're touching on a lot of topics that's really prevalent in Bahamian society, and these are the topics that we need to actually have more discussions about. I always listen to Issues of the Day with Wendell Jones, so this kind of reminded me of listening to Issues of the Day.
Listen station.
Exciting conversation both of y'all had. And just to backtrack on one of the callers who called earlier when he was commenting about how nothing can change. Well, I want to tell that particular individual that if you believe nothing can change, then it's almost like you're part of the problem without even knowing that you're a part of it. You understand what I'm saying? Because I believe everything can change. I believe every problem has a solution. And we have to start to think like problem solvers if we truly want to bring about change inside this country. Like Mr. Smith said, it's a small country in regards to our population. We only have less than 500,000 people. But we got to believe in ourselves. And there was one time ago that we looked at each other as family, that we treated each other as family, and we need to go back to that. And in order for that to happen, we got to start with information and knowledge, and it starts with a basic education that starts in the kindergarten level. When that individual called and said that we can't change, I just want to remind him, by him saying that, it's almost like saying, you cannot solve the problem, because empires them arise and empires fall. And that's what life is about, bringing about change. So I want to remind that caller that yes, we can change. One of the former political parties, they had a slogan say, change is here. You understand what I'm saying? I don't support no particular individual political party. I'm not endorsing them, but I want to keep that slogan within our mind, that change is here, because that's the slogan Bahamians need to have if we want to make a change inside this country. As far as the part where you talked about the tourism model, the tourism model that we have going on right now with Stafford Sands, and he was actually one of the founders of the Bahamas Tourism Promotion Board, who brought about the marketing and advertising that was needed to promote this country to the level of what it is right now. We give the Stafford credit. At the same time, there were a lot of black Bahamians who contributed too, so we can't left that out. We got to keep in mind that we cannot operate off a modus operandi mentality that we hate the roots of a tree and don't hate the tree itself. You can't hate your origin and don't hate yourself. So with that being said, we got to learn how to love ourselves and respect ourselves and get back to original, authentic Bahamian roots and culture. Stuff that our grandparents instilled inside of us, and we will see a great change inside this country.
Thank you, caller. I appreciate that call, but I'll tell you this. When I said about the Stafford Sands, I said that in a way to inspire Bahamians, right, who have the power to, they don't have to eliminate tourism, They don't have to abolish tourism, but you have to build on what you have. We need to start thinking out of the box. We have to be more creative. Create incentives to encourage other Bahamians to come up with ideas. Man, listen, what do we have in this country for tourists to come back to see? I ain't worried about what I see. You check it for yourself. What do we have? What is happening in this country that Bahamians are offering other than going in the straw market and buying stuff from Cuba or China? All kind of nice things, and I'm not saying that it's bad, but we ain't making them. If you got to spend $10 to sell something to make $20, only $10 you really making. You're replacing the same 10 you pay for it, right? But if you pick the top in Andres, dry the top, plant the top, make a hat, right, and then sell it. That's the irony I was trying to get to. We as Bahamians need to get up. We need to man up and do some things to stop complaining and blaming people. And some things will happen in this country. They allow all the Bahamian entertainments to die. They sit right there. And you just find out what time these things died. 1992, 2002. So you understand who's in power. They didn't care about us. If they care about us, they wouldn't allow them to die. They care about the Bahamian culture, and they don't want to prevent the degradation of our culture. They would stop it. Because they give foreigners $36 million to start killing Bahamas. They assess them, right? And you see, when you have politicians who making decisions like this, I'll give you one. I'll give you one right now. 21 families put up $1 million for the Awaki port development. A part of the agreement is that they are guaranteed 10% on their $1 million for 25 years. Right? On Awaki port now today, 10% on $1 million is $10,000 a year. 10%, right?
Yeah, 10%, 100,000.
That's $100,000, $10,000, right? 10%.
Right.
10% is $100,000 for $1 million.
Real.
So 25 years, right?
Seriously.
On your investment. No investment, hardly any investment around the world will give you a guarantee 10%
Regardless.
on your money.
Yeah.
I tell you this. When you get $100,000 of your $1 million every year, a part of the agreement tells you, this is what the part of the agreement says, that these people who put the 21 million, who have the $21 million in shares, if Awaki Port don't make enough money to pay the 21 families their 10%, They're $100,000 a year. The treasury of the Bahamian people will have to pay to make up the balance to guarantee the 10% on the $1 million. Not only that, you know what the politicians do? And guess what? And they ain't shame. They call on the radio and say, listen, we only the rich should have shares. The poor people over here should get shares. And you ain't got no money, we'll take it from your salary. If you work for government. Right. You could get shares without even bringing cash. Right. Some people break up running. Oh, see that? Yeah. Well, they after them want to get shares, they after them cheat, they looking for payments. No. Right. Your shares ain't the same shares. No. You ain't getting guarantee on the shares you buying. No. Your shares is not preferable shares.
Yeah, people understand that.
Yeah. Your $3,500 or $5,000 make you $200 a year. Right. Or $300 a year. Right. That ain't 10%. No. Like, the man getting $100,000, and if our key poor don't make enough money, the treasury will make it up. Wow. The poor people tax will make it up. Yes. To pay the rich. Yeah. Right. That's what the politicians do, and we believe that he trying to help us because he throws some crumbs to you. Yeah. The crumbs they throw to you ain't what they getting. No, real right. And I teach that old people gotta get it. Real right. And that's why, and see, listen, if they don't get it, things will never change in the country. Yes. We'll continue to flood in the water. Real. Engine off, and we just drifting. Yeah. Why? Because if you can't see it, if you don't empower yourself, educate yourself, and prepare, that hey, that decency alone should make you stand up against the bullshit.
I'm telling you, real talk.
Things gotta change.
Yeah, you gotta take it over. That's all. Really, you know how it goes. That's all. Yeah, man.
That's why, listen, I tell you this before you respond and call him. I spoke to a politician when he was in power, during the F&M empowerment. And he said, when we started the show, he said, things are good in the country and the educational system is improving and he's comfortable and he's excited. The predictions of the educational system. You know, I say, oh, yeah, okay. I say, do your kids go to government school? He said, no. I said, use the Minister of Education. I said, back I said, use the Minister of Education. And you're turning in to government school? He said, no. He said, it's a decision of his wife. I said, okay. Your wife makes a decision. Then your children go to private school. He said, yeah. I said, but you know what they're saying to your wife? You know what your wife saying to you? She ain't got confidence in you. Because if she get confidence in the private school system when you Minister of Education or the government school system, and she let your children go to private school, she ain't got confidence in you.
No, seriously.
He said, I never see it like that. I say, because, you know, you got to let the wife have the way. Nonsense.
No, that's
talking fool. To prove that I got faith in my system, if I'm the Minister of Education, to prove that I got faith in what I'm doing, I know what I'm doing, and I'm doing the best thing to deal with this education system, my children will be the first step on the line. Huh? Yeah. I gotta have confidence in myself.
Yeah, saw that.
Or your children better, or my children better than your own. So mine gonna go to private, but yours go to government school.
Yeah, man.
Go ahead, you lie.
So for sure, that's what it is. Like you say with them keeping it down, and they know when they be promoting all the D average, and then they know at the end of the day they intentionally putting certain things in place to keep the people down. They know even when you look at boys and girls supposed to even get trained different, you know. And even with the educational system, like they'll be saying all these boys don't want to learn. Ain't too much time a boy really want to sit down in a room all day and just have a book in front of him. He need a little activity, he need a little different things. So even those things they need to look at. But these things are really an intent to keep the people down. Because they know right now, like a Joan just gone. You know how much children, thousands of children on this road right now without nothing to do? And they know this, you know, because once again, the criminal lawyers running the land, the doctors running the land, so they know they're going to increase crime. They know these children ain't going to have nothing to do. They running around the streets. So all this is just keep them because they know these the future, the generation. These can be the adults in the next 20 years. And if the way this road moving right now, if these are children in the next 20 years, for sure, I don't want to see what this road can be like. But then there's really an intent by the politicians. I don't care what no one say. There's 39 of them. When you listen to House of Assembly, it sound like a big joke now. Like, you will tell your same child, like I used to have to tell some of the older taxi drivers, they say, bro, I hope you all ain't get no grandchildren, because the way you all conducting yourself sometimes like little kids around here, and you all now want to tell your children behave. So it's the same thing with the House Assembly. These politicians, when you like listen to House Assembly, it's be garbage, like they playing around. Oh, Johnson, you know, you pick the gun up, this, oh, ha, 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 and everyone just clowning around, man, children dying in the streets. But yet these same people who wrapping up and putting the sheet over your child and daughter head, why won't you really fight for change? Like, are you too druggy or your head going to say, hold on now, that's foolishness now. I just burying my son, I burying my brother, my little son in jail, my daughter on the street, she horn herself. This garbage only due to these same infrastructure changes so they won't put in place. So my people, once again, you have to stand up for your rights right now. The time is now. You know what, in the next 200 years, ain't none else can be here, you know. So I don't know what you're thinking, but guess what? It can be whatever seed you plant now that can show that can grow in the future. So people, it's time for us to start now and make a change.
And that's to concur with your statement. Be a part of the change. Be a part of the change. You make sure you be a part of the change. If everybody do that, the street will be blocked with people walking. And if everybody say, I can be a part of the change, the next person, I can be a part of the change. Let's be a part of the change. And I guarantee things will happen. Boy, I appreciate you coming, and we need to sit down we need. I guarantee you. I can put the offer to you, and if you're free and available, and you come back, you sit down. We need to talk. Maybe offer some ideas, because I could bring my educational plan, and let's just chat about it and see how best we can offer solutions. They don't have to take it, you know, and they listening. They listening. They don't have to take nothing we say. But at least let the ordinary citizen understand that there are some people in this country who's prepared to work hard to create a system that can work. You understand? I guarantee you, if you have all boys school, all girls school, the distraction was cut out. Right? Because plenty of boys in the school, they trying to, stay clean up, stay fresh. They will fight to make the guys feel that they bad. Listen, you ain't want to learn? We got I told Nash for you to go to. All boys who unruly and don't learn, we turn it into formative school where it's run like a military base or something, where you got to come with your clothes fixed just you and learn. Parents ain't want their children to be going to school with the average. So they'd be, do your homework. Go over there and help them with their homework, because they want their child to go to CV Bell with a C. Or H.O. Nash was a B. Or you know what I mean? We have to create a system. Bring a bus system. Pay money to pick the children up, so they wouldn't be walking downtown, coming to school late. School don't have to go from 9 to 3. School could go from 8 to 5. Parents leaving job early to go pick up their children. I mean, we can create a system. In China, they know the importance of education. Education is empowerment, bro. You ain't got a hand people that many education. Very rare you got a hand a person who got a PhD, something.
Serious thing.
You understand? Because he have enough sense and knowledge to figure out what he need to do. But if you pushing children out of school through a social promotion program where you go, time for you to go, you don't know enough, get out here. Go stand for yourself. And hope that you survive. You think you creating criminals?
Yeah, for sure.
That's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen.
18, being the child 18, ain't putting nothing in place when the child young now. You can say, boy, you're a man now, what you want to do with your life? Man, you're supposed from 5, 6, 7, you're supposed to then steer him a certain path.
Be a flat all the time. That is not God.
Yes, sir.
Our banner sponsor tonight, the City of Hope, Najico Insurance. Listen, whatever insurance you need, the fastest growing insurance company in this country, Najico, Mackey Street, right near the Salvation Army. Global insurance for your one-stop shop and insurance needs. Marine, you have boat, jet ski, whatever. You have touristic speedboats, whatever you need. Marine, health, commercial, industrial, residential, whatever, life insurance, whatever you need in insurance, Global Insurance, Sandy Port, Tina and Crew, 601. Get on call tomorrow and get some more information. 601-0006, 601-0006. Judy's Bread Shop, the bread from the pond, the hand, on East Street, after you pass the Windsor Park. The aroma, the smell of the freshly baked bread will guide you to the store. That's Judy's Bread Shop on East Street. The bread from the pond to your hand. Vinton Barber Shop. That's on Nassau Street right off Nassau Street by the graveyard opposite the Magistrate Court. You know where the Magistrate Court is, just turn to the corner opposite the first green and white 2-story building. Go there and get a nicely fresh cut Rasta grains and things. Listen, eat some healthy this weekend. I guarantee you'll feel better. Take some of the weight from off them old meat and stuff. Listen, eat some fish, salmon, some ital veggie, and some natural peanut juice or sorrel or, listen, guarantee 7-man strength, Irish moss, all that. All the good stuff, the natural stuff. Rasta grains and things on Nassau Street. Tell me where this out on Primetime at Independent Thinker. Mr. Smith,
Yes, sir.
I'm going to call you back. You can set up a time.
Yes, sir.
we need to continue the conversation.
for sure.
You understand? This kind of time, because it's election time, politicians are scared to come and talk, They're scared to talk. So this is the time we could get to the humans, getting their understanding. Because you giving them, if they don't do nothing about it, they don't care. Because I used to march with Rodney Munko for years, hanging murders, right? And you'll see 30, 40 people on the line. When you had 100 murders that's in here, and only 30 people marching. I mean, only 10 people is affected. You ain't affected. You don't understand that. Hey, you have to be a part of the solution. You ain't a part of the problem because you ain't killing nobody. But you have to be a part of the solution because politics move by numbers. By numbers. So when they see a big crowd coming walking, either they trying to get to the back of the line and be a part of it, or they say what they want. What do they want? What do they want? Right. Numbers.
Yes, sir.
Ready?
Ready?
You ready?
Yeah, ready for sure.
This has been Primetime Independent Thinker. My special guest tonight was Kian Smith. He'll be back. We'll talk educational, at least in the next trip. We talk about crime, some issues and solutions to fight this crime in this country. But I'll end with a great quote from the great late Cylinder Oscar Pilgrim. If Bahamians aren't prepared to stand up and fight and defend their own Bahamas, then they don't deserve to have it. Good night.